Revival. I'm Naomi Suzanne from Naomi's Home Health, and I'm a holistic health coach who specializes in thyroid and autoimmune healing using natural health solutions. Today's episode 21, we are going to go through heavy metal toxicity. Now, this is a really important topic to any person, not just someone with a thyroid or autoimmune disease, any health condition, but anybody. We all take on heavy metals in our body every single day. We can even take it on before we're born. So toxic heavy metals impact our body and our health. Like I said, we all have them inside our bodies, and it's in loads and loads of products and items that we use every single day. Things like beauty products, cleaning products, air pollution, any industry, petrol, like gas, any of those sorts of fumes. It's in the ocean. It's in absolutely everything. Herbicides, pesticides, our cookware. It's really important to focus on heavy metal detoxing when we want to try and get healthy. Like I said, we're exposed to them in many different ways across our lifetime. They are so ingrained in our bodies that we can pass them down to our children, and they can be born with heavy metal toxicity, particularly mercury in their system. So you can inherit heavy metal toxicity when you're born, not through, genetics, but through passed down through your DNA. Toxic heavy metals alone or in a combination with a virus cause an abundance of chronic illnesses, symptoms, and conditions. So this is why it's really important to focus on this when we go through our healing process. Nutrition's really important. There are things that are really important to healing, but heavy metal detoxing is super important. Heavy metal is in, like I said, absolutely everything, particularly in vaccines as well. So if you've had a lot of vaccines over your lifetime, and it's really, really impossible for our bodies to naturally detox it out because of the way they are. And I'm going to go through that now. So what are some of the conditions or symptoms that are showing us that we have an abundance of heavy metals in our body? So anxiety, depression, eczema, psoriasis, vitiligo, migraines, headaches, bipolar disorder, ADHD, autism, schizophrenia, addictions, Alzheimer's, memory loss, brain fog, OCD, Crohn's, like any autoimmune, ALS, cancers, burnout, insomnia, MS, Parkinson's, rosacea, tremors, tics, focus and concentration, spasms. So many things are showing us that we have an abundance of heavy metal in our body. So the toxic heavy metals like aluminium, arsenic, cadmium, copper, lead, mercury, nickel, toxic calcium, they can accumulate in different areas and organs of the body, particularly in the brain and the liver. So this is why a lot of conditions are caused by or triggered by toxic heavy metals, because our brain and our liver are the most affected. And our liver is, like I said, a major detox organ in our body, and it can't detox them effectively. One, because there's too many in our lifetime, and two, like our liver has to take on a lot of other toxins as well. Pharmaceuticals even have and supplements can have toxic heavy metals in them as well. So we're taking things that we're thinking are good for our health when actually, in fact, there's ingredients in them that are causing more problems. So toxic heavy metals are they carry a disruptive charge that interferes with the electricity that travels through your brain. So our body has electricity. This is why grounding and earthing is really important as well. I went through that in another episode. Neurotransmitter chemicals are meant to use the neural highway to carry information and life force to every cell in your brain. When toxic heavy metals are present, electrical impulses weaken as they hit these deposits, right? So electrical activity becomes diffused, and that leads to a host of symptoms and conditions that can develop over a lifetime. So toxic heavy metals also oxidize. So think of like rusting metals, and they release a discharge of heavy metal byproducts, which can travel to adjacent brain cells and affect more neurons. So they cause the symptoms to worsen, or they can appear far they can appear over time, sorry. So they can worsen over time or they can appear over a length of time. So you might not have a lot of symptoms that are really apparent. And I'll go through a few more symptoms. You may not have, symptoms that are really apparent, but it is really important to still detox heavy metals because we all take them on anyway. Heavy metals also interact with each other. So all different types of heavy metals in the body, they react with each other and become more toxic than they are by themselves. So they oxidize more rapidly when we have a host of them in our body. The worst part is that they don't just leave our body on their own. Like that, our liver struggles to detox it. They don't just, pick up and leave by themselves. We have to force them out, and they can increase any viral or bacterial load that we've got in our body or any issues that we have with viruses. And if you've listened to my podcast or any of my lives, you will know that also our body doesn't just get rid of a virus just by eliminating it properly, particularly these days with the amount of toxicity that we have in our bodies. Our bodies are overburdened. They're not working properly because of everything around us, the stress, the toxins, all of that, all the foods that we eat. All of these things are causing our body to not be able to detox the heavy metals and the viruses and the bacteria in our body. So they all interact with each other and cause a lot of problems. Now, a lot of people are so laser focused on blood tests. Is there a blood test that I can find out if there's, heavy metal in our body? Is there a blood test that I can find this out? Is there a blood test? Because we are conditioned to believe that unless it doesn't come up in a blood test, we don't have it, right? So blood tests, as I've said before, are inconclusive. We are only testing our blood. It's the same as when we test our iron levels or whatever. We're only testing our blood because you're drawing out the blood and you're testing what's in your bloodstream at the time, right? At the time they draw out the blood. Now, it's not testing what is held in the tissues of your body. It's not testing what's held in your brainstem. It's not testing what's in your liver or any other organ in your body. It's simply just testing the blood. So if you have a lot of heavy metal in other parts of your body, you don't know that because you cannot test that. You can't take a piece of liver out or a piece of your brainstem or whatever and test it. You need to actually focus on the symptoms. That's why I find that when, people are going to doctors and they're getting tests for thyroid function, they say your thyroid's working fine. Blood tests aren't always the answer. We should be looking at symptoms and working with that, because when we work with symptoms, then it's easier. Like if those symptoms start to disappear, right? Well, then that was the problem. It's pretty simple. It's not doing anything dangerous. We don't have to, there are tests that find out we've got cancer and all those things. I'm not saying all tests, and, it comes up with there is a thyroid issue, things like that. But the degree of how bad it is can be a lot worse because it's not showing up in your bloodstream at the time. So it's really difficult to test brain, liver, adrenals because we're just testing the blood. So I hope that makes sense. So some of the symptoms, again, I'll go through that. When you've got the virus and the bacteria and the heavy metal in your body, you can experience a lot more symptoms. So things like bloating, abdominal pain, diarrhea, constipation, or both, nutrient deficiencies, restless legs, tingling, numbness, fatigue, anxiety, heart palpitations, ringing in the ears, dizziness, vertigo, neck, knee, foot pain, back of the head pain, and many, many more. So if you have any of these symptoms, it's not going to hurt you to do a heavy metal detox. Nothing of what I explain is going to be dangerous or hurtful to you. It's only going to help you. So why do we need to get out the heavy metals? For the health and vitality. Obviously, we obviously need to feel better. We obviously want to heal our body. We don't want our symptoms to get worse. We don't want autoimmune disease. We don't want oxidative stress in our body, which is something else I've spoken about. All that free radical damage in our body. Our cells decline. Our body struggles to detox the dead cells in our body, which I don't know if you did science at school, but apoptosis is cellular death, right? When a cell dies, our body eliminates it. But what happens if our body's not functioning properly because we've got all this toxicity going through it, all this oxidative stress? Our body can't detox the dead cells, and those cells corrupt good cells. And what happens is the cell that's corrupting the good cells, then those good cells are corrupted and they start to take over and corrupt other cells. And this is how you get tumors, because one cell starts to, it's got too much oxidative stress, or it's too many free radicals, too much free radical damage in the body. And this is what happens. And this comes from toxicity, stress, food, all of those things that I'm talking about, heavy metal toxicity. So reducing and removing heavy metals is really important. This is why I talk about the importance of detoxing your house, as in getting natural ingredients in your life and natural products. Getting rid of all these toxic products in your life is super important to help your body stop taking on so many things every single day. We cannot remove everything. We cannot avoid everything. Other people around us, they might be wearing their perfumes, or there's air pollution when we go outside. There's a lot of things that we can't avoid, but we can reduce them, and we can do the best that we can on a daily basis to detox our body. And when we do a heavy metal detox, it's not for 3 or 4 days. We should be detoxing heavy metals across our lifetime because we take them on every single day. This is what I talk about detoxing. If you are introduced to a program that detoxes for a few days, a few weeks, a few months, don't worry about it. Lose it. Don't invest in that. You need an educational program that's going to teach you to do this for the rest of your life. This is a daily practice for you because, like I said, daily we take on things, daily we are stressed, all of that. So it's important to focus on doing this for the rest of our lives, reading the backs of everything, choosing the best supplements if we need supplements, getting organic food if we can afford it or if it's available to us. Not using harmful sprays in our gardens. Like, everything matters. What we put in our body, what we inhale, what we ingest, all matters. Our body has to detox it all. So the other reason we want to get them out of our body is because they short circuit our neurotransmitters and they burn them out, and they're just being destroyed. So they're impacting our emotional regulation. So if you think that you're moody, or you're emotional, or you have all these anxiety or depression or anything like that, it may be that you have an abundance of heavy metal in your body. So you're not crazy. You might just be, you need to do a detox. It's going to help you no matter what. Even if it doesn't fully take away your problem, it's going to help you over a long period of time to continue doing this. So we can be feeding these heavy metals and helping them remain in our body with the foods that we consume every single day. So foods like egg, dairy, soy, seed oils, gluten, they all feed and continue this viral load in the body, and this interaction with the viruses, the bacteria, and the heavy metals. It helps keep these heavy metals in our liver. We want foods that are going to help remove and detox the heavy metals. Now, you can't flush them out with water. Water has heavy metal in it too. If you use tap water, it has heavy metal in it. You can't flush them out. You can't, there's no foot spa. I see these foot spas on, I think it was TikTok or Facebook, and it's got all this dirty water in it. It's going, it's removing all the heavy metal out of your body. No, it doesn't come out of your skin. It has to be eliminated through the liver and out through the body. It's not going to come out with foot patches. It's not going to come out with all these crazy techniques. It's going to come out with food, certain foods, and will help remove them out of the organs of your body. So the top foods, spirulina, which is a blue-green algae that draws out the heavy metals from the brain, the central nervous system, and the liver. And it soaks up these heavy metals and helps carry them out through the body. Barley grass juice powder. The juice powder is more important than the just barley grass powder. It helps remove the mercury. You've got coriander or cilantro if you're in America. It goes deep into the body and extracts heavy metal from years and years ago. So it's amazing. Add it to your foods, add it to everything. And a lot of people don't like it. They don't like coriander because it's a very potent flavor. But a lot of the time, that's an indication that you have a lot of heavy metal toxicity in your body. I used to hate coriander and I add it to everything now. Parsley, basil, all of those things are good too, but coriander is the number one herb to remove toxic heavy metals from your body from a long, long time ago. So our body will hang on to pharmaceuticals from when we were a kid because it's helping us to not poison the rest of our body. So when our body is like our liver is hanging on to these pharmaceuticals or all sorts of heavy metals, right? Our liver is hanging on to it. It's not poisoning other organs. Yes, it can get into other organs. That's because our liver is so overburdened, it can't hold on to anymore. Now, this is why I see, there's a lot of people who talk about eating animal liver for the nutrients. Eat animal liver for the high iron intake. Now, just remember that is the major detox organ of that animal. Animals take on toxins too. They have food that's probably not organic. The grass that they're eating gets sprayed. They could be in a farm beside a big factory that pumps out pollution. They're going to have pollution probably anyway. The world is full of air pollution. There's a lot, they have all sorts of vaccines and medications and things like that. So animals will have toxic livers as well. So when you're eating liver for the benefits of, nutrients, yes, there is nutrients in liver. There's nutrients in grass too. I don't see anybody going out eating that. So just remember, when you are eating liver, you are going to be taking on toxins as well. Atlantic dulse, kelp, seaweed, all of those things, they bind to heavy metals, particularly the dulse. The dulse in particular removes mercury from the digestive tract, and Atlantic dulse won't release any of the mercury that it's hanging on to into the body. It will hang on to it and keep gathering mercury, and it will take all of it out once our body eliminates the dulse. It'll take all the heavy metals out as well. Wild blueberries are another good one. They are the top 5, but we can also, eat really healthy, eat lots of fresh fruits, vegetables, and add a lot of fresh herbs to your diet. These are all important foods, and to eliminate those other foods that are feeding all these things in our body. So heavy metal toxicity causes a lot of issues in our body. We may or may not know whether how much we have in our body. We'll never know the extent of how much heavy metal toxicity we have. But if you have some of the symptoms mentioned, add these foods to your diet. I work with my clients on heavy metal detoxing. If you want somebody to help you with it, we do a heavy metal detox smoothie. I do a lot of different things with the clients. I teach them how to reduce their toxins. I teach my program's educational. I teach you a lot of things, and my programs that I write specifically for you are based on your symptoms. They're based on what you tell me. They're based on your physical, mental, and emotional health. And they are based basically on teaching you how to live a clean lifestyle every single day in order to reduce your symptoms, feel better, have more energy, sleep better, and hopefully you can get off any medications you might be on. I'm not promising anything. I'm just saying I know that your health will improve because everybody that follows my program exactly does better. All of them. Particularly the people that come back for a second and third consultation, they are so much better. The people who don't follow it don't get better. It's as simple as that. Those are the statistics. I know my programs work because I add so much into it. The value that you get from my programs is far above what you would pay for it. And I see people paying a fortune for programs that don't work. You also get support from me. You are allowed to message me and things like that, and I'll answer you straight away because I want to support you to make sure that you don't fall off the wagon, that you continue what you're doing, and that you heal. I want to see you get better. So look into the heavy metal detoxing. I use an amazing blend. It's from Vesuvio Healthy Living if you're in Australia. Go to the link in my bio. on any of my platforms, Spotify, TikTok, whatever, and go on to Vesuvio Healthy Living Detox Blends, and you will see a heavy metal detox blend. You'll get a discount as well, but you will see a heavy metal detox blend, and it will help. It's got all these ingredients in it that help remove heavy metals from your body. And it's just a spoonful a day. You can put it in water, you can put it in juice. I put it in my smoothie because I have a smoothie most mornings, and it helps remove toxic heavy metals from the body. So link is in the bio if you want to look at that. It's a very good investment in your health. If you think that somebody needs this episode or this podcast, please share it with them. Share it with as many people as you can, because this is a health podcast to help people remain, healthy, or to become healthy, or to, be aware of what is going on in life. People don't realize we're so conditioned to think that it's okay just to pop a pill for everything, just to spray our body with perfume, just to use toxic products. So it's really important to help people understand what they do every single day. So please follow, like, share this podcast with as many people as you can.